unaware that his pregnant ex-wife was now the senior surgeon of the hospital where he would have his heart surgery. He humiliated her without mercy. "Move out of my way, you useless woman." The shout slices through the hospital parking lot, loud enough to make people turn. Anna freezes, one hand instinctively covering her pregnant belly as her ex-husband, Mark Lawson, storms toward her with his mistress clinging to his arm. She hadn't seen him in 3 years. She hadn't expected to see him today, of all days. Not when she had just been promoted. Not when she was preparing for a life-saving operation. Not when she thought she had finally outrun her past. But fate wasn't done with her. And Mark, unaware of her new identity, her new strength, and the child growing inside her, was about to unleash the same cruelty that destroyed their marriage. Anna raises her chin. "Mark, I'm not blocking your way. You can walk past." He steps closer, breath hot with irritation. "Don't tell me what to do. You never could do anything right." His mistress laughs, sharp, mocking. "Look at you," the mistress says. "Pregnant and alone. Life really humbled you." Anna swallows hard. No emotion. No weakness. "Not today." "Leave me alone," she manages. Mark scoffs. Still dramatic. Still useless. He moves to walk past her, but intentionally shoulders her with force. Her body jerks. Her hand flies to her belly. A sharp pain stabs through her. "Mark," she gasps. He turns, eyes narrowed with satisfaction. "What? Going to cry? You always cried." His mistress squeezes his hand. "Baby, she's pathetic. Let's go. Your appointment is in 10 minutes. Appointment. Heart surgery." A cold realization prickles down Anna's spine. He's her patient. He has no idea. He doesn't know that the woman he just shoved, the woman carrying a child, is the new senior cardiothoracic surgeon assigned to perform his life-saving operation. He doesn't know that the woman he used, cheated on, humiliated, and divorced, is the only person standing between him and death. Anna steps back, steadying herself. The pain eases, but her heart pounds with fury. "Don't touch me again," she warns quietly. He laughs. "Or what? You'll report me. Nobody listens to you. Nobody ever has." Anna feels heat sting behind her eyes. "Not now. Not here." Mark leans in closer, voice cruel. "And who's the father of that thing you're carrying? Must be another man you trapped, right? You haven't changed." "Enough," Anna says. "Why? Did I hit a nerve?" He sneers. "Let me tell you something. You look pathetic. Look at your clothes. You look like..." Anna cuts him off. "Mark, stop." He smirks. "Or what? You'll collapse like you used to. Useless. Weak. I made the right choice dumping you." His mistress laughs again. "Definitely. Upgrade achieved." Anna breathes in slowly, fighting the tremor in her hands. His cruelty isn't new. But today something inside her cracks. Not with weakness. With clarity. With power. With the realization that this moment, this humiliation, is the last time he will ever speak to her like this. Anna steps aside. "Go!" Mark snorts. "Finally!" He starts walking, but in one swift, brutal motion, he extends his leg and kicks backward. Straight into her belly. Anna screams as she collapses to her knees, both hands clutching her stomach. Pain rips through her. The world blurs. People gasp. Someone shouts, "Hey! What's wrong with you?" Mark only turns halfway, shrugging. She was in the way. His mistress claps a hand over her mouth but laughs. "Oh my God, Mark." Anna tries to inhale, but the pain is sharp, blinding. She can't breathe. She can barely hear the voices around her. A security guard runs toward them. "Sir, that is assault." Mark's expression darkens. "She fell. I didn't touch her." Anna forces herself to her feet, gripping the car beside her to stay balanced. Her knees shake. Her vision swims. She whispers, "My baby. Please be okay." Mark's cold eyes flick to her stomach then away, as if she's an inconvenience. Come on, Lucy, he snaps to his mistress. We're late. I won't let some worthless ex ruin my day. Worthless. The word burns through her like acid. She straightens slowly. Mark. Pauses. Anna lifts her head, eyes fierce with a fire he hasn't seen before. You're going to regret this. He snorts. I regret ever meeting you. Anna's voice is low and steady. Walk into that hospital. Go ahead. Your arrogance will follow you right into the operating room. He raises a brow. What's that supposed to mean? Anna almost smiles. You'll find out soon enough. A whisper of fear flashes in his eyes, but he hides it. I don't have time for your nonsense. He turns away. Anna watches him walk toward the entrance, his arm locked with his mistress. Each step fuels her determination. He thinks she's powerless. He thinks she's alone. He thinks she's the same woman he crushed years ago. But he doesn't know who she has become. He doesn't know her title. He doesn't know her status. He doesn't know the life growing inside her is protected by strength he never imagined. He doesn't know she rebuilt everything he destroyed. He doesn't know she will look down at him on the operating table. He doesn't know his survival rests in her hands. He doesn't know. But he will. Anna breathes through the pain and reaches for her phone. She must check on her baby. She must steady her nerves. She must prepare. To every woman watching this, if you've ever been humiliated, belittled, or abused, don't forget to subscribe. You deserve a story where you rise again. Anna wiped her tears, squares her shoulders, and lifts her chin. Time to walk into her destiny. Time to become the woman he fears. Time to show the world what resilience looks like. She turns toward the hospital entrance. Mark Lawson, she whispers. Your life is in my hands now. The hospital lobby buzzed with the usual chaos. Patients, nurses, and doctors rushing through, phones ringing, elevators pinging. Yet for Anna, none of it mattered. Mark Lawson strode in with his mistress, Lucy, still smirking, unaware of the storm waiting inside. His gait was confident, arrogant, the same gait that had haunted her life for years. Anna's heels clicked against the polished floor. Each step reminded her that she no longer belonged to the past. She was no longer weak. She was in control. He had no idea who she had become. A nurse glanced up, frowning. Sir, your appointment. Yeah, I know. Mark interrupted impatiently, brushing past her. I'm late. Lucy tugged at his sleeve. Mark, hurry. Don't make me wait. He rolled his eyes. Don't act like I care. Anna's pulse quickened. Time had come. The moment that would redefine their relationship. Forever. In the operating theater, she stood over the charts, reviewing his medical history. Her hand grazed the folder where his name was written. Mark Lawson. Heart disease. High-risk surgery. The irony made her lips twitch. Not with humor, but with a controlled, simmering fury. She took a deep breath. She was the senior surgeon assigned to his procedure. She would operate on him, save him if she chose. The thought alone made her spine straighten. He had humiliated her, kicked her belly, mocked her in front of Lucy. Now he would depend entirely on her hands to live. The nurse knocked softly. Doctor, the patient is ready. Anna looked up. Controlled. It's like steel. Send him in. The doors swung open. Mark entered, not expecting to see her in full surgical attire. Mask pulled down, cap snug, eyes sharp, white coat pristine. Anna lifted her eyes. Slowly. Mark froze. Recognition didn't come immediately. Confusion flickered across his face. Then realization hit, and the color drained. Anna! His voice cracked. Just a hint. Yes, Mark. Anna. Her voice was calm, professional, deadly precise. Lucy gasped. Wait, she's the surgeon. Anna didn't answer. She gestured toward the operating table. Lie down. We don't have time for theatrics. Mark's mouth opened, closed, opened again. You're the senior surgeon. Anna stepped closer, every movement deliberate. I am. And today your survival depends entirely on my hands. The same hands you tried to hurt this morning. Mark swallowed hard. Lucy's grip on his arm tightened. Mark, maybe we should. No, he interrupted, voice low, trembling. Tell me this is a joke. You can't be. Anna leaned in, letting her words pierce like a scalpel. You humiliated me. You kicked me when I was carrying my child. You mocked me in front of your mistress. And now, you're my patient. He swallowed again, dry throat. I didn't know. I didn't. You didn't know. Anna's voice sharpened. You never take responsibility, do you? Not then, not now. But you will today. On this table. Lucy turned pale. Mark, please calm down. Anna's gaze shifted from him to the monitors, to the instruments laid out like an army of justice waiting. Time is critical. Your heart condition is serious. Hesitation could cost you your life. Mark's arrogance cracked. I need to speak to another doctor. Anna shook her head slowly. No one else is available. I am your attending surgeon. And I suggest you stop wasting time trying to argue with me. He stepped back, hands slightly raised, panic rising. Anna, please, we can talk. You talked enough when you kicked me this morning, Anna said softly. Now you survive or you die. The choice isn't yours, it's mine. Do you understand? Mark's eyes darted around, desperation mounting. He looked at Lucy, then back at Anna. His mind raced. He could see now the full scale of his arrogance. How small, how pathetic he looked. Lucy whispered, voice trembling. Mark, maybe we should cancel. Please, she. She won't kill me, Mark muttered, his voice hollow. Then he gulped. She won't. Anna's gaze didn't waver. I am a doctor first. Revenge is not my choice. Survival is. But if you so much as breathe a word of disrespect toward me during this procedure, or endanger yourself through carelessness, I won't hesitate to remove you from my hands. Mark's knees almost buckled. I understand. I understand. Anna turned to the nurses. Prepare the patient for surgery. Full vitals. Anesthesia on standby. And someone call for extra monitoring. We're dealing with a high-risk heart condition and an emotional patient. The nurses exchanged quick glances but followed orders. There was no arguing with Anna. Her presence demanded respect. As they prepped Mark, Anna's hand brushed against the surgical tools. Each movement was precise, deliberate, controlled. Every instrument in her hand carried years of study, discipline, and the unshakable truth that she had survived worse than this. Mark, now on the table, tried to meet her gaze. His bravado was gone, replaced by fear and realization. He had underestimated her for the last time. Anna adjusted the monitor, her voice calm, professional. Anesthesia now. The mask went over his face. He flinched, reaching for her, but she gently held his wrist. Relax. You are in capable hands. You will live. His panic softened, replaced with a hollow gratitude, a realization of the second chance he had been given. I'm sorry for everything. Anna's jaw tightened. Save your apologies for after you wake. Right now, focus on survival. As the anesthesia took hold, Mark's eyes fluttered closed. The fear, the arrogance, the cruelty, all dissolved under the weight of his dependency on her. Anna stepped back, taking a deep breath. Her heartbeat was steady, her resolve unwavering. She had been humiliated, kicked, mocked, but never broken. And she would save him. Not for revenge, not for fear, but because her conscience demanded it. Because life was greater than hate. To every woman out there, even when someone tries to crush you, rise. Your power is waiting. Subscribe and follow along. The story isn't over. She smiled faintly, a spark of determination lighting her eyes. The operating theater lights blazed down, instruments gleaming, monitors beeping. It was the calm before the storm. And Anna knew, when the heart began to open, when the first incision was made, Every memory of pain, every insult, every kick would fuel her hands, steady and unwavering. Mark Lawson, arrogant, cruel Mark Lawson, would see firsthand the woman he destroyed had become the only one who could save his life. And for the first time in years, Anna felt power. Not the power of revenge. Not the power of wealth or influence. The power of resilience, skill, and moral courage. This was only the beginning. Anna adjusted the surgical mask and scrubbed in, her hands moving with precision, each motion deliberate. But even as she prepared, her mind drifted, briefly, sharply, to the years she had spent with Mark Lawson. 7 years earlier, she had been 24, ambitious, full of hope. A young cardiology resident, eager to save lives, eager to prove herself. And then she had met him, Mark. He had been charming, magnetic, wealthy, persuasive. Everything she thought she wanted in a partner. "Anna, I can't believe I found someone like you," he had whispered during their first date, eyes locking hers with intensity. She had felt special, wanted, powerful, like the world had finally noticed her worth. She had moved in with him, sacrificed sleep, focus, everything, to support him while he built his empire. But the man she loved wasn't the man she got. Late nights turned into constant demands. Support turned into criticism. Love turned into control. "You're too ambitious," he would sneer. "Who do you think you are? You're not special. You're nothing without me." She endured silently. She tolerated the emotional bruises, the belittling remarks, the endless comparisons. She stayed because she loved him, and because she thought love required sacrifice. Then came Lucy. Anna remembered the first time she noticed the small cracks, texts on his phone, secretive calls, late nights at the office. "You've changed," he had told her one evening when she confronted him. "You're too emotional, too weak." And then the confession. "I don't need you anymore. I found someone who understands me, who makes me happy." Lucy. The name burned in her mind like fire. Anna had crumbled, not in anger, not in confrontation, but in disbelief. The man she had supported, believed in, loved, discarded her for another woman, and left her alone, humiliated and broken. And now he stood 3 steps away from her, clueless that the very woman he had kicked and mocked was the one who would control whether he lived or died. Her thoughts shifted, briefly, to her unborn child. A life growing inside her that was a symbol of her strength, not his cruelty. She ran a hand lightly over her stomach. Then there was Tom Anderson, her salvation in human form. The man who saw her, truly saw her, when she had been broken and discarded. They met 2 years after Mark left. Anna had been struggling, barely able to trust anyone, haunted by betrayal. She had thrown herself into work, and it was in a hospital seminar she met him. A philanthropist, wealthy, calm and confident. But unlike Mark, he never tried to control her. "I've heard about your work," he had said casually over coffee, eyes steady on hers. "You have a rare talent. Don't waste it on regret or heartbreak." He had offered her respect, partnership, and eventually love. Not the flashy, fragile kind, but a love that built her back up, one piece at a time. And here she was, in the same hospital where her past and present collided. Mark Lawson, the man who had kicked her, mocked her, and made her question her worth, was now under her care. Anna glanced at him through the operating room glass. He was pale, visibly tense, wringing his hands as Lucy hovered near him. The arrogance he carried outside the OR was gone, replaced by a helplessness she hadn't seen before. The irony wasn't lost on her. She checked his chart again. His heart condition was serious. She made a single mistake, he could die. She would not allow him, or his arrogance, to endanger himself. Not today. Not ever. A nurse tapped her shoulder. "Dr. Anesthesia is ready. He's stable for induction." Anna nodded. "Thank you. Let's proceed carefully." But as she prepared, her mind wandered again. Not to fear, not to regret, but to the lessons carved into her soul by those years. That love should never diminish your worth. That pain can forge strength if you refuse to break. that true partnership supports growth, not control. She looked toward the hors d'oeuvres. Every step Mark had taken to mock her, to diminish her, had led to this moment, where she would show calm mastery over chaos, where she would rise not with vengeance, but with the power of life itself. She heard Lucy whispering frantically to him, "Mark, maybe you should ask for another surgeon." He shook his head. No, Anna adjusted the mask again, feeling the familiar hum of adrenaline and focus. Every memory of betrayal, every insult, every kick, they fueled her precision, her unwavering hands. As she entered the OR, she felt a strange calm. The fluorescent lights above were harsh, clinical, but they illuminated her moment, the moment where past and present merged. Mark's eyes widened as he realized fully who she was. His smugness was gone. Terror replaced it. You're the surgeon," he whispered almost inaudibly. Anna's lips curled into a faint, controlled smile. "Yes, Mark. And today your life depends entirely on me. Not your mistress, not your luck, not your charm. On me." He swallowed, the weight of years of arrogance crashing down. He had mocked her. He had struck her. He had believed she was powerless. And now he understood just how powerless he truly was. Not because she sought revenge, but because she had become untouchable through skill, resilience, and moral strength. Anna focused on Mark. "Anesthesia first. Monitor vitals closely. And remember, every movement you make matters. One mistake, and the consequences are yours." He nodded, silent, eyes wide, finally seeing the woman he destroyed now in full command of life and death. Anna took her position, scalpel in hand, heart steady. Memories of the past surged, not to weaken her, but to steady her resolve. The room was silent except for the faint beep of monitors. And she knew, deep in her soul, that the surgery would be more than medical. It would be a reckoning. She whispered softly under her breath, just for herself. "Years of pain, years of betrayal. They brought me here. And today I rise." The first incision was about to be made. And Mark Lawson, once cruel, once arrogant, once untouchable, was entirely in her hands. The operating theater was sterile, bright, and silent except for the steady beeping of the monitors. Anna stood at the head of the table, gloves tight, scalpel in hand. Every fiber of her being hummed with focus, precision, and control. Mark Lawson lay on the table, unconscious under anesthesia, unaware that the woman he had humiliated, kicked, and mocked was now the only person who could save his life. Anna took a deep breath. Years of anger, betrayal, and pain were concentrated in her hands. She would operate with no vengeance, only skill, because her moral compass demanded it. The head nurse, a young woman named Clara, glanced at her nervously. "Doctor, vitals are stable. But he's tense." Anna nodded. "That tension is normal. Begin prep." Scalpel first incision in 3, 2, 1. Her hands moved with surgical precision. The incision was clean, calculated. Every motion was deliberate. And as the scalpel touched his skin, Anna's mind drifted, not to him but to all the years she had suffered. The first memory flashed. Mark pushing her against the wall, mocking her for her ambitions. "You're weak. You'll never be more than a burden." The second, Lucy laughing as he kicked her belly that morning. The pain seared through her, but she transformed it into resolve, channeling every ounce into steady hands. The third, her moments with Tom, how he had held her when she cried, how he had encouraged her to reclaim her life, her career, her dignity. Every memory was a tool, a weapon, a shield. Anna made another incision, carefully retracting tissue, navigating the heart with the precision of a maestro. Clara whispered, "Doctor, he's stable, but his heart rate is spiking." "Control it," Anna instructed, voice calm. Her eyes scanned the monitors, her mind mapping every artery, every valve. "Vasopressors. Minister now. Don't delay." Mark's body reacted as if sensing her presence. Tension, resistance. His subconscious remembered her from that parking lot. The memory of humiliation ran through him like a cold tide. Anna paused, inhaling. Her pulse steady, her mind focused. She had one goal: save him. Not because he deserved it, but because life mattered more than revenge. Her hand moved with rhythmic precision, her scalpel guided by years of training and the emotional fire of survival. Then came the first complication, a minor tear in the artery wall. Blood pressure dropped. Clara tensed. Anna's eyes narrowed. Sutures. Quick. Steady hands. You are not letting him die on my watch. Mark's unconscious face twitched, perhaps in recognition, perhaps in subconscious fear. Years of arrogance, now powerless under anesthesia. Clara glanced at Anna, concern etched on her face. Doctor, are you sure he'll make it? Anna's gaze softened. Not for him, but for the principles she carried. He will. He deserves a chance. We all do. And sometimes people only learn through the second chance life gives them. He paused. For a moment, the room was quiet except for the monitor's beeps. She allowed herself a tiny private thought. Mark, this is your reckoning. Not my revenge. Your reckoning. Another complication arose. A clot forming near the valve. Anna's hands moved faster, every motion deliberate. Clamp. Evacuate. Maintain pressure. Now. Clara worked alongside her, efficient but tense. Anna's control never wavered. Every action precise. Every decision life-saving. Her mind flickered briefly. Parking lot humiliation. A kick. Laughter. Lucy's mocking eyes. She let it fuel her, but did not cloud her judgment. This was more than justice. It was morality in motion. Minutes passed, stretching like hours. The team worked like a single organism under Anna's leadership. Every second mattered. Then, finally, the critical part, the heart valve repair. Anna leaned closer, hands steady, eyes sharp. Focus. One slip and it's over. You are not losing control. Mark's unconscious body seemed to shudder. Perhaps a reflex of fear, perhaps recognition deep inside. Anna didn't flinch. Her voice remained calm. This is your chance, Mark. Life or death. Focus on survival. The team worked seamlessly. The valve was repaired, sutures in place, blood flow restored. Anna exhaled slowly, her heart steady, pulse controlled. Check vitals. Pressure normalizing. Clara smiled faintly, relief evident. Doctor, it's stable. We did it. Anna allowed herself a brief, internal smile. Victory. Not over him but over the past, over pain, over helplessness. She glanced at the monitor, confirming steady heart rhythm. Close carefully. Watch every stitch. This is final. One error now could undo everything. As the final sutures were placed, Anna's mind drifted again, this time to Tom. The man who had given her love, security, and trust. She felt gratitude, strength, and calm. The past no longer had power over her. She decided her own narrative. The anesthesia team prepared to bring Mark out of sedation. Anna stepped back, still overseeing, her presence commanding. He began to stir. Consciousness returned slowly. Panic, confusion, fear, all flickered across his face. Doctor! His voice weak, trembling. Anna's eyes softened, professional but unwavering. You're alive, Mark. That's what matters. Your survival rests on your choices now. Learn from them. His eyes widened as memories returned. The parking lot, the kick, the humiliation. And now, the realization. The woman he tried to destroy saved his life. He whispered, almost inaudibly, I thank you. Anna nodded. Controlled. Compassionate yet firm. You have a second chance. Don't waste it. Lucy, standing by the doorway, turned pale. Mark. He swallowed, guilt heavy. For the first time, arrogance abandoned him. The consequences of cruelty and ignorance dawned on him fully. Anna allowed herself one final glance at the monitors. Everything stable. Life preserved. Justice tempered with professionalism. And for the first time in years she felt complete. Not through revenge. Not through hatred. but through mastery, compassion, and resilience. Anna turned to the team. Let's close up. Patient stable. Excellent work. As Mark's vitals normalized, Anna finally removed her gloves, her mind at peace. The woman who had been broken, kicked, and humiliated was no longer her past. She was strength, precision, and moral authority in motion. And Mark Lawson would never forget it. The operating theater doors opened slowly, the hum of monitors replaced by the softer chatter of recovery nurses. Mark Lawson lay in the ICU bed, pale but stable. His chest was bandaged, his breathing steady, yet his mind was racing, haunted by a realization he could not escape. Anna, still in her surgical attire, stepped inside. Her face was calm, her eyes sharp, her presence commanding. "Doctor!" Mark's voice cracked, barely above a whisper. She looked down at him, unflinching. "You're alive. That's what matters." He swallowed hard, panic and guilt twisting together. I don't understand. How?" Anna's lips curled faintly. "I am your surgeon. You depended on me to survive, and you did. That's all that matters right now." Lucy hovered in the doorway, fidgeting nervously. "Mark. I didn't think. I mean." Anna's gaze swept over her, icy and precise. "Lucy, sit down. This is not a moment for excuses. You were complicit in humiliation. You laughed. You mocked. You egged him on. Do you understand the gravity of your actions?" Lucy swallowed, voice small. I didn't think it would. You just. Anna's voice sharpened. You just joined in cruelty because it was convenient. Now look at the consequences. He nearly died. And it was my hands that kept him alive. Lucy's eyes welled with tears. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. Anna shook her head slowly. Sorry doesn't undo action. Only awareness, change, and accountability do. Remember that. Mark tried to sit up, but the pain in his chest stopped him. Anna. I'm sorry. His voice trembled, weak but genuine. I treated you horribly. I was cruel. I humiliated you. Anna's expression softened slightly, but her gaze never wavered. Mark, survival isn't about apologies. It's about learning. You've been given a second chance. Don't waste it. He closed his eyes, the weight of his actions settling over him like a storm. I never realized. I didn't understand. You're strong. Anna supplied calmly. Yes, him. And I always was. You just didn't see it. Mark swallowed, his mind racing back 7 years, to the parking lot that morning, to the humiliation, to the kick, to the laughter of Lucy. Every memory now sharpened by guilt. I was a fool, he muttered, voice hoarse. I don't deserve. I don't deserve. Anna leaned slightly closer, her tone firm. Deserve has nothing to do with it. Life isn't about what you deserve. It's about what you do with the chances you're given. Mark's lips trembled. And you could've. Yes, Anna interrupted softly but firmly. I could have let the past decide my actions. But I didn't. I chose life over revenge. I chose professionalism. Chose compassion. That's what makes the difference. Lucy, still standing nervously, whispered, Mark, maybe we should leave her alone. Anna's gaze snapped to her. No, you need to hear this. Every action has consequences. You mocked. You humiliated. You endangered life. That doesn't vanish because someone chooses mercy over vengeance. Remember this lesson. Mark buried his face in his hands, overwhelmed by a mixture of relief and shame. I will change. I promise. Anna's voice softened slightly, the ice in her eyes melting to steel-tinged compassion. Then don't waste this second chance. Learn humility, respect life, respect others, and most importantly, never underestimate someone again. A nurse entered to check vitals. Doctor, everything is stable. He's recovering well. Anna nodded, satisfied. Good. Continue monitoring closely. Any change, alert me immediately. As the nurse stepped out, Mark looked up at Anna again. I owe you my life, my everything. Anna shook her head. Don't owe me anything. You owe yourself the chance to be better. That's all. Lucy's lips quivered. And me. Anna's gaze met hers, unwavering. Change begins with awareness. Accountability. Don't involve yourself in cruelty again. That's all I ask. Mark, still pale, finally allowed himself to speak the words he had avoided for years. I'm sorry. Truly. I was a monster. And you saved me. I don't deserve it. Anna's eyes softened just slightly. Mark, life isn't about deserving. It's about opportunity. Use it wisely. That's the gift you've been given. Mark nodded weakly, a tear escaping the corner of his eye. I swear, I'll never be like that again. Anna straightened, turning to leave the room. Good. Then start now. And remember, humility is learned in moments like this, not after it's too late. As she walked toward the door, she paused, looking back once. And to everyone watching, if you've been humiliated, kicked, or betrayed, never let it define you. Rebuild. And follow stories that remind you your power is waiting. Subscribe. You're stronger than you think. Mark's gaze followed her, a mixture of awe, fear, and guilt washing over him. For the first time, he fully grasped the woman he had tried to break was untouchable. Not because of wealth, not because of influence, but because of strength, resilience, and moral courage. Lucy's grip on his hand tightened, trembling. Mark, she's amazing. Mark nodded, words failing him. All he could do was reflect on the cruel, arrogant man he had been, and the second chance life had given him. Anna walked out, leaving them to their thoughts. The room felt heavy with the weight of past sins and newfound clarity. Outside, she exhaled, letting herself relax slightly. The operation was over. Mark was alive. She had faced the man who tried to destroy her, and she had done so without losing herself. Her phone buzzed, a message from Tom. "How's my favorite miracle worker?" She smiled softly. "All stable. The arrogant patient survived. Thanks for being you." Tom's reply came instantly. "Glad to hear. Take care of yourself and our little one. That's what matters." Anna's gaze drifted to the window. The city stretched endlessly beyond, full of people, full of stories. Some cruel, some kind, some waiting to be rewritten. And she knew, no matter the past, no matter the pain, she had reclaimed her story, her strength, and her power. Mark Lawson and Lucy, for all their arrogance, would carry the lesson of the day forever. And Anna, she had done what she always did. Survived, risen, and remained untouchable. The hospital corridors buzzed with activity, but the tension from the operating room lingered like a storm cloud. Word of Mark Lawson's high-risk surgery, and the surgeon who had saved him, spread quickly among staff. Whispers followed Anna wherever she went, a mix of awe and admiration. In the executive office of Mark's company, chaos unfolded. Mark and Lucy sat stiffly across from the board of directors, faces pale and guilty. The room was silent except for the sharp ticking of a clock. The chairman, an older man with piercing eyes, leaned forward. "Mr. Lawson, Ms. Reed. Your behavior this morning was unacceptable. Humiliating a woman, one of our former employees, in front of staff, kicking her, mocking her pregnancy. We've reviewed reports and witnesses. This is intolerable." Lucy's eyes widened. We didn't mean any." "Intent doesn't matter," the chairman interrupted. "Your actions were cruel, reckless, and reflect poorly on this company. Effective immediately, both of you are suspended pending review, and we will determine your employment status." Mark swallowed, feeling a familiar helplessness creep in. For the first time in years, he realized actions have consequences, and money, power, or arrogance could not shield him from accountability. Lucy's voice trembled. "Suspended. You can't do this." The chairman's gaze was unwavering. "We can and we will. Your behavior endangered not only a life but also the reputation of this company. There are consequences for cruelty, Ms. Reed, as well as Mr. Lawson." Mark's mind flashed back to Anna in the oar, the woman he had mocked, kicked, and disrespected. And now he sat powerless, facing real repercussions outside the hospital, consequences he could not escape. You don't understand," he stammered, voice cracking. She saved me." "I didn't know." The chairman leaned back. "We understand perfectly. That is precisely why your behavior is inexcusable. Consider this your first lesson in humility, Mr. Lawson." Meanwhile, across town, Anna walked out of the hospital into the cool evening air. The city lights glittered like stars scattered across the skyline. She felt the weight of relief settle over her shoulders. The operation had been a success. Mark was alive. And justice, quiet, powerful, and inevitable, was already taking its course. Her phone buzzed with messages. "Tom. How's my favorite miracle worker?" Anna smiled faintly. She typed back. "Patient stable. Karma is working faster than I expected." Tom's reply came instantly. "Good. Let him learn. You've done your part. Now rest." Anna leaned against the railing, gazing at the city below. For years, she had been a woman overlooked, mocked, and discarded. But now she was a respected senior surgeon, a protector of life, and soon-to-be mother. Every insult, every humiliation, every setback had forged her into the woman standing there, strong, unyielding, and untouchable. Back at Mark's office, the consequences rippled. Word of the suspension spread quickly among staff and clients. Emails circulated. Rumors grew. The humiliation he had inflicted on Anna mirrored back on him, multiplied by his newfound vulnerability and professional jeopardy. Lucy, usually poised and confident, now avoided eye contact with colleagues. Even her social media was filled with subtle snubs and passive-aggressive comments about workplace fairness, leaving her reputation tarnished. Mark, for all his wealth and influence, felt small, exposed, and powerless. And he knew it was entirely his fault. Meanwhile, Anna received a call from her mentor at the hospital. "Anna, the board wants to feature you in the hospital newsletter. They're calling you a hero. A senior surgeon who maintained professionalism despite a personal attack. They want your story told." Anna smiled faintly. "Thank you. But this isn't about me. It's about standards, morality, and resilience." Her mentor chuckled. "Exactly why people will be inspired by it. You've become a role model." Anna hung up and sent a quick message to Tom. "Looks like karma isn't just poetic, it's operational." Tom's reply. "Haha, but you deserve every moment of this. Come home soon, love. Our little one awaits." Later that evening, Anna settled into her home, the glow of the city behind her. Tom joined her, wrapping his arm around her shoulders. "How does it feel, saving a life and seeing justice unfold?" She leaned into him. "Empowering, humbling, and freeing. I've survived him, risen above cruelty, and I know the path ahead is mine to choose." Tom smiled, kissing her forehead. "And you've chosen it brilliantly. Our family, our life. It's strong because of you." Anna's thoughts drifted again to Mark and Lucy. The ordeal had reminded her, and would remind them, that every action has consequences. Cruelty is always mirrored back, arrogance eventually punished, and humility learned only through second chances. The next day, news of Mark and Lucy's suspension broke publicly. Social media buzzed with judgment, comments on morality, and praise for Anna. People admired the surgeon who maintained composure in the face of cruelty, who saved a life without revenge, and who reclaimed her dignity. Anna watched the storm of consequences unfold, not with glee, but with quiet satisfaction. Her story, her life, her strength, it had become an inspiration. And for the first time in years, she felt fully untouchable. Not because of wealth, not because of revenge, but because of resilience, morality, and unwavering courage. And somewhere deep down she knew, Mark Lawson and Lucy would never forget the woman they had underestimated. Anna leaned back, eyes closed, hands resting gently on her belly. Life, justice, and love were aligned in perfect harmony. Anna smiled faintly. The journey isn't over. And neither is your power. Keep rising. The night settled over the city, quiet yet powerful. For Anna, it was the beginning of a new chapter, one where strength, forgiveness, and moral courage defined her every step. And the echoes of Mark's arrogance, Lucy's complicity, and their downfall would serve as a reminder to the world. Cruelty always meets consequences, and resilience always rises. The sun streamed through the hospital windows, casting a golden glow on the recovery ward. Anna walked through the corridors, her steps steady, calm, and confident. Nurses whispered greetings, patients smiled, and colleagues glanced at her with respect. She had become more than a senior surgeon. She had become a symbol of resilience and integrity. Mark Lawson's surgery had set off ripples far beyond the hospital. Stories of the pregnant ex-wife who saved her cruel ex-husband circulated in social media feeds, in news articles, and in private conversations. People were fascinated, not by revenge, but by her composure, strength, and morality. Anna paused outside the ICU where Mark was recovering. His chest bandaged, monitors beeping. He seemed smaller than before, more human, more aware. He glanced at her as she entered, guilt and awe mingling in his eyes. "Doctor, Anna," he whispered. I don't know how to." "Don't try to find words," she said softly, professional yet firm. "Actions speak louder than apologies. You've been given a second chance. Use it wisely." He nodded, swallowing hard. I will. Promise. Change. I'll never hurt anyone like that again." Anna's gaze softened slightly. "Good. Now focus on recovery. That's what matters most." Outside the ICU, Anna's phone buzzed. A text from Tom. "Lunch break. Come meet me at the park." She smiled faintly. The park was quiet, shaded, peaceful, a sharp contrast to the storm of the past days. When she arrived, Tom was waiting, holding a bouquet of flowers and his trademark calm smile. "How's my miracle worker today?" he asked. Anna laughed softly. "Exhausted but fulfilled. Surgery went well. Patient stable. Karma seems to be working its magic." Tom shook his head, chuckling. "And you're still teaching the world resilience, aren't you?" "I am," she replied. "If people can see someone rise above humiliation and cruelty, maybe they'll find strength too. Maybe they'll realize that life is bigger than revenge." They walked along the tree-lined path, hands brushing occasionally. Anna placed her hand gently on her belly, feeling the small life growing inside her. Each kick reminded her of her triumph over past pain, and the new beginning she had carved for herself. Tom stopped and looked at her seriously. "You've changed, Anna. You've faced cruelty, humiliation, and loss. And yet, you've risen stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. I admire you every day." Anna smiled, leaning on him slightly. "It wasn't easy. But every kick, every insult, every betrayal, it led me here. To a life where I control my story, my power, and my future. And to a family that supports me." Tom's hands rested gently on hers, protective and warm. "We'll face everything together. The past doesn't define you. The present is ours. And the future is brighter than ever." Meanwhile, back in the corporate world, Mark and Lucy faced public scrutiny. Social media posts dissected their mourning of cruelty, while news articles praised Anna for her professionalism and moral strength. Their suspension was followed by demotion and eventual termination from their positions. Consequences finally had arrived. Lucy's voice, now small and tremulous, echoed in her mind. I didn't think it would matter. I didn't mean to." Mark, once arrogant and dismissive, now understood the weight of every action. His mistakes had not gone unnoticed. Every humiliation he had inflicted was mirrored back, amplified by the reality that Anna had survived, thrived, and outshone him entirely. Anna, oblivious to the gossip outside the hospital walls, focused on the moments that truly mattered. Her unborn child, Tom's unwavering support, and her own sense of accomplishment. Every decision she made, from choosing professionalism over revenge to teaching the lessons of morality and resilience, cemented her status as untouchable in both character and skill. As the night settled over the city, Anna and Tom returned home. The apartment was quiet, filled with soft light. She placed a hand on her belly, feeling the gentle rhythm of life inside her. Tom wrapped his arm around her shoulders. "You've done more than save a life, Anna. You've taught the world, and you've shown the next generation what courage, compassion, and resilience look like." Anna leaned against him, taking a deep breath. "The journey isn't over. There will always be challenges, but we've proven that the past doesn't have to define the future. That's the story I want to share." Tom kissed her forehead gently. "And you will. Together we'll face everything. And our child will grow up knowing strength, compassion, and integrity." Anna closed her eyes, feeling the warmth of love, life, and accomplishment. She had faced the storm, survived humiliation, risen above cruelty, and reclaimed her narrative. And for the first time in years, she felt entirely free, entirely empowered, and completely untouchable. Outside, the city lights shimmered, indifferent yet beautiful, a reminder that life goes on, and resilience always shines brightest in the aftermath of darkness. The hospital's auditorium was buzzing with activity, filled with doctors, nurses, staff, and members of the press. Anna walked to the podium, calm, composed, yet radiating quiet authority. Today was not about revenge. Today was about recognition, justice, and inspiration. A large screen behind her displayed the story headline: "Pregnant Surgeon Saves Life of Former Husband Who Humiliated Her. A Story of Resilience and Professionalism." Whispers filled the room. Some were admiring, some incredulous. But all eyes were on her. Anna adjusted the microphone. "Thank you all for being here. This isn't about me. It's about what professionalism, resilience, and moral courage can achieve, even in the face of cruelty and humiliation." She paused, letting the words sink in. 7 years ago, I faced betrayal, mockery, and humiliation from someone I trusted. I was discarded, belittled, and underestimated. And yet, here I stand. Not because of vengeance, not because of anger, but because I chose life, responsibility, and compassion over revenge. The crowd murmured, captivated. Cameras clicked. Phones recorded every word. Anna glanced down at the hospital staff in the audience. "Let this be a lesson. Cruelty has consequences. Arrogance and disrespect may give temporary satisfaction, but life always balances the scales. And morality, when paired with skill and resilience, shines brighter than any attempt to diminish others." She looked at the reporters, her eyes firm. Mark Lawson and Lucy Reed have faced professional consequences. Their actions harmed others and reflected poorly on their positions of responsibility. Today they are accountable, and rightly so. But accountability is not about punishment. It's about learning, growth, and humility. A reporter raised a hand. "Dr. Anderson, many are calling this story inspiring. What would you say to young women and men who face similar humiliation or betrayal?" Anna's gaze softened, her voice carrying both warmth and strength. "I would say, your worth is not defined by those who try to diminish you. Your strength comes from how you respond, how you rise above, and how you reclaim your life. Build your skills, hold your morals, and never let cruelty dictate your choices. And most importantly, believe in yourself when no one else does." The audience erupted in applause, some standing. The story of the woman who survived humiliation, saved a life, and maintained integrity was resonating far beyond the hospital walls. Later, outside the auditorium, reporters crowded around. Cameras flashed as Anna answered questions with poise. "Dr. Anderson, did you ever feel like taking revenge?" one asked. Anna shook her head calmly. "Revenge is fleeting. Justice and compassion endure. Saving a life, teaching a lesson, and reclaiming dignity. That lasts. Another reporter pressed. How does it feel to be pregnant and still maintain such composure in such a high-stakes situation? Anna smiled softly. Life is about responsibility. I protect my child, my patience, and my integrity. That's what gives me strength. Meanwhile, Mark and Lucy, now facing the reality of their suspension, felt the weight of public judgment. The corporate world had seen their cruelty, and social media amplified their humiliation. Every comment, every article, every whisper reminded them that actions have consequences. Mark's voice, once confident and arrogant, was subdued. Lucy, we never realized. Lucy's eyes filled with tears. I know. We underestimated her. Completely. Mark's gaze fell. I humiliated her. Kicked her, and she saved me anyway. I don't deserve it. Lucy nodded silently, guilt overwhelming her. The lesson was clear. Mistreatment of others only brings downfall if unchecked. Back at home, Anna sat with Tom, the city lights casting a warm glow through the window. The story is spreading, Tom said softly. People are inspired. They see the strength you've shown. Anna leaned back, hand on her belly. It's not about me. It's about showing that life gives second chances, but it also holds people accountable. People need to see that cruelty is never without consequence, and resilience always rises. Tom smiled, kissing her forehead. You've done more than save a life. You've saved the narrative, shown justice, and inspired countless people. And soon our child will know what courage looks like. Anna's thoughts drifted briefly to the future. Mark and Lucy's careers were impacted, but Anna's focus remained on life, growth, and empowerment. The past was a memory, but the lessons she had learned, the strength she had built, and the compassion she had chosen would guide her, and others, forever. To everyone watching, the world may humiliate you, betray you, or try to break you. But strength, resilience, and morality will always outshine cruelty. Your past doesn't define your future. Rise, rebuild, and reclaim your life. Subscribe and follow for stories that prove courage and integrity always prevail. Tom wrapped his arms around her, the warmth of home enveloping them. You've proven it, Anna. Not just to them but to the world. And most importantly, to yourself. Anna rested her head on his shoulder, feeling the life growing inside her. The journey continues, but now I know exactly who I am, what I stand for, and the power I hold. And nothing, not arrogance, cruelty, or betrayal, can take that away. Outside, the city buzzed with life, indifferent yet alive, as if acknowledging quietly that resilience always shines brightest after the storm, and that those who rise with integrity and courage become untouchable forces of inspiration. And Anna, she had reclaimed her narrative. She had faced humiliation, endured cruelty, saved a life, and emerged victorious, untouched in spirit, unstoppable in will, and unshakable in her moral authority. Mark Lawson sat alone in his sleek, now empty office, the hum of city life outside the window contrasting sharply with the hollow silence inside. The weight of reality pressed on him like never before. His suspension had turned into termination. Social media posts dissecting his cruelty were trending, and colleagues whispered whenever he walked past. He clenched his fists, the sting of humiliation sinking deep. For the first time, arrogance and wealth offered no protection. The woman he had mocked, kicked, and tried to destroy had outshone him completely. Lucy entered quietly, her eyes filled with guilt. Mark. I didn't think. We never realized. Mark shook his head. Realized. We underestimated her completely. And now we've lost everything. She's untouchable, Lucy. Every step we took to belittle her. Every cruel joke, it came back tenfold. Lucy swallowed, tears welling. I wish we could undo it. Mark's eyes met hers, a mixture of shame and bitter clarity. We can't, and we have to live with the consequences. Karma. It's not poetic, Lucy. It's real. And it's ruthless when earned. Meanwhile, Anna was at home, the soft glow of the city outside her window. Tom held her close, whispering softly about their growing family. Her mind, however, drifted briefly to Mark and Lucy. Not with anger, not with revenge, but with clarity. Justice had taken its course without her lifting a finger beyond professionalism. Tom wrapped his arms around her, kissing her forehead gently. You've not only saved a life, you've saved countless hearts through your example. People are inspired by you. Anna's hand rested on her belly. It's not about me. It's about showing the world that humiliation can be transformed into empowerment. That cruelty has limits, and resilience has no bounds. Back in the corporate world, Mark and Lucy faced the brunt of their misconduct. Interviews, social media threads, and gossip painted them as arrogant, reckless, and undeserving of their positions. Job offers disappeared, partnerships dissolved, and their professional reputations lay in ruins. Lucy whispered, her voice trembling. Mark, do you understand now? She didn't just survive us, she thrived. And we destroyed our own lives chasing petty cruelty. Mark's lips pressed into a thin line. Yes, every insult, every humiliation. It's all mine. And now I see it clearly. We were fools. At the hospital, Anna walked past the bustling nurses' station, heads turning in admiration. Staff approached her quietly, thanking her for maintaining professionalism despite personal attacks. One nurse, Clara, smiled. Doctor, watching you handle everything. It's inspiring. You didn't just save him. You showed us all how to rise above hate. Anna nodded gently. Resilience isn't just surviving cruelty. It's transforming it into strength, maintaining dignity, and refusing to let others define your worth. Clara nodded, eyes bright. You're a role model, Doctor. Anna smiled softly, a mix of pride and humility. No, I'm just proof that life rewards integrity, not vengeance. Later that evening, Anna sat with Tom on the balcony, city lights shimmering below. It's over, Tom said softly. Mark and Lucy. Consequences have arrived. And you've reclaimed everything they tried to take from you. Anna's gaze drifted to the horizon. It's not about reclaiming. It's about moving forward. They'll face their reality. And we'll focus on building life, love, and integrity. That's our power. Tom squeezed her hand. And your baby will grow up knowing exactly what courage and resilience look like. Anna rested her head on his shoulder, closing her eyes. I've learned that revenge is fleeting, but empowerment endures. Humiliation can be transformed into triumph. And every setback, every pain, can be the foundation for strength. Meanwhile, Mark, sitting alone in his now empty office, reflected on the full weight of his actions. The humiliation he had inflicted on Anna had rebounded on him in ways he could not escape. His life had been altered irrevocably, and for the first time, he understood the true meaning of accountability. Lucy beside him whispered softly, We were blind, and now we see. Too late, perhaps. Mark nodded slowly. Yes, too late. And yet, I hope she knows, she didn't break. She thrived. And that's what matters. Back home, Anna finally allowed herself a deep exhale, feeling the tension of the past week dissolve. The woman who had been humiliated, kicked, and mocked had emerged victorious, not through vengeance, but through resilience, skill, and moral courage. Tom wrapped his arms around her again, smiling. The storm is over. The world sees your power. And we get to live in peace, love, and strength. Anna placed a hand on her belly, feeling the small life growing within. Yes, the storm is over. And now, the future belongs to us, untouched by cruelty, fueled by courage, and guided by integrity. She looked out at the city skyline, a gentle breeze brushing her hair. Past was a memory. The present was triumph. The future was unstoppable. And as the night settled, Anna Anderson, survivor, healer, and moral victor, stood untouchable, unshakable, and unstoppable. The morning sunlight streamed through the windows of Anna's home, casting a golden glow over the living room. The city outside was waking, but inside, there was a serenity that had been absent for years. Anna stood by the window, hand resting gently on her growing belly, feeling the rhythm of life she had fought so hard to protect. Tom entered, carrying 2 mugs of coffee, and wrapped his arms around her from behind. "Morning, miracle worker," he said softly. Anna smiled, leaning back against him. "Morning. The world seems quieter today. Lighter somehow." Tom nodded, looking out the window beside her. "It's because justice has been served. Mark and Lucy have faced their consequences, and your life, our life, is finally our own." Anna exhaled, a faint smile playing on her lips. "It's not about their downfall. It's about the peace that comes from rising above humiliation and cruelty. About reclaiming dignity, protecting life, and living with integrity. That's what matters." Across town, Mark Lawson walked out of the building where his final termination had been processed. His shoulders were heavy, his eyes distant. Every colleague's glance reminded him of the arrogance, cruelty, and ignorance that had defined his past. He thought of Anna, strong, composed, untouchable, and for the first time he truly understood the power of moral courage. Lucy trailed behind him silently, guilt etched in every movement. We underestimated her," she whispered almost to herself. "Completely." Mark nodded slowly. "Yes, and we paid the price." She thrived. "And we lost everything chasing petty cruelty." Meanwhile, Anna and Tom stepped outside their home, the morning air crisp and full of possibility. Anna's heart swelled as she felt her child kick, a small yet profound reminder of resilience, new beginnings, and triumph over the past. "Every step we take now is ours," Tom said, holding her hand tightly. "Free from the shadows of the past." Anna smiled, eyes glistening. "Yes, free. And ready to build a future that no one can touch." Later that day, Anna returned to the hospital. Colleagues approached her with congratulations, admiration, and respect. Staff whispered about how she had maintained professionalism in the face of personal attacks, saved a life, and emerged stronger than ever. Clara, a young nurse, approached, eyes wide. "Doctor, people are inspired by you. Your story. It's changing lives." Anna nodded gently. Resilience, integrity, and compassion aren't just words. They're actions. And anyone can rise above cruelty if they choose to. She paused for a moment, reflecting on her journey. The humiliation in the parking lot, the kick, the laughter. Those memories now served as proof of her strength and growth, not as anchors of shame. As she left the hospital, she passed a group of young medical students. One of them, inspired, asked timidly, "Dr. Anderson, how did you keep going after everything you faced?" Anna smiled warmly. "Because I chose life over revenge, dignity over humiliation, and compassion over anger. Every setback, every insult, every betrayal became fuel for strength, not destruction. And that's a choice you can make too." Meanwhile, Mark and Lucy's professional and social reputations continued to crumble. Offers vanished, partnerships ended, and colleagues spoke openly about their misconduct. The lesson was clear. Cruelty carries inevitable consequences, and integrity outshines arrogance every time. Back at home, Anna and Tom settled on the balcony as the sun began to set. The city lights flickered on, reflecting in the gentle ripples of the river below. Anna rested her head on Tom's shoulder, feeling the life within her kick gently. "You've done more than survive," Tom whispered. "You've thrived. You've reclaimed your narrative, saved a life, and inspired countless others. And now, we get to focus on our family, our future." Anna smiled softly, eyes glistening with quiet triumph. "It's not just about survival. It's about reclaiming dignity, rising above humiliation, and choosing compassion even when revenge seems easier. That's the power I want to share with our child and the world." Tom kissed her forehead, holding her close. "And you've shown it beautifully. The storm is over, and the future is ours. As she uploaded the video, Anna glanced at Tom, a smile of quiet satisfaction on her lips. The world had witnessed her strength. The people who had tried to destroy her had been held accountable. And her life, her future, was untouchable. The night settled over the city, calm yet alive, a reminder that resilience shines brightest after darkness, and integrity always outlasts cruelty. Anna placed a hand on her belly, feeling the small life growing within, a living symbol of hope, courage, and new beginnings. She whispered softly, "This is just the beginning. Our story, our journey, is unstoppable." And as the city slept, one truth remained undeniable. Anna Anderson had survived, thrived, and claimed her ultimate triumph, untouchable, unshakable, and unstoppable. Life will test you. It will push you to the edge, humiliate you, and challenge your strength. But remember this: your past doesn't define your future. What defines you is how you respond. Your resilience, your integrity, and your courage. Anna's story proves that cruelty may try to break you, but dignity, compassion, and determination always triumph. She chose life over revenge, strength over bitterness, and kindness over hatred. And in doing so, she became untouchable, unshakable, and unstoppable. If this story inspired you, if it reminded you that you have the power to rise above humiliation and reclaim your life, then don't stop here. Subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and join a community of people committed to strength, courage, and resilience. Remember, your power is waiting. Rise, rebuild, reclaim.